Now this is a totally different sport we're trying to push for to grow.
So when you decided to reintroduce tarmac racing in the country, what are the steps that were taken?
Well, when the tarmac events used to happen before we joined Kmsf, yes. It was just an agreement. We used to go get advice from Kmsf, but we were not actually under Kmsf at that time. But we tried and made the events as safe as possible, and the good thing is it was something new and people really loved it. It was something unique. So that's why we used to get a lot of people who used to come to Kiambu, Muranga, and Masinga, and all those other places. And slowly that's how it grew.
What was, for the people who came back together, what was, the attraction to this rather than, autocross, rallying, or 4x4 challenge, or even karting, or doing motocross, which is basically on two wheels?
So, Kenyans, how we are. We really get bored, haraka. So if we're used to something, the same thing all the time, we tend to push off and look for something else unique. So when we started this, it was something which came at the right time. Mm-hmm. So rally had been going on, but guys really wanted something unique to come out. And these are the cars you actually see on the roads, but you've never seen them go on their top end speeds. So we gave that opportunity to drivers and fans. And yeah, it actually caught. So that's how it grew.
So the early introduction, let's now talk about how you get to develop cars for this kind of competition. Because my road car or your road car is not what you'd use for tarmac competition, given the speed. So you need a little bit of balance, especially when it comes to
safety,
cornering. Yeah. You need a bit of safety. Plus, also, move it from 100 horsepower, probably do 300.
Okay, so it depends with the cars. Mm-hmm. So we have a guy, he's called Mustafa. He has a Swift. And trust me, when you see these two cars, actually I think it's an 1800 cc. I'm not sure. I need to confirm, or 1600. I'm not sure. But
1500 to 1800. Yeah, that's basically one class.
Yes, but usually they don't come with a turbo. So he put a turbo in it, mapped it. He did everything by himself. But that car is quick. The setup, the way he put his shocks, the gearbox, the clutch, the whole system, he just did an amazing job on that small car. Right now, that car pushes way faster than some Subarus and Evos out there, you see. But if you see that car, unaweza idharau.
When it is, if it was to come out here to the parking, it would just be another.
Yes, okay. You'll see to few spoilers, nini, to doidois, small things, lakini it's so quick. So what we check on when we do, it's called scrutineering. So we get the cars, the drivers come, they park their cars, and then we check for any leakages, we check the lights, we check if your tires are worn out, we check generally anything that can cause you to have a small accident, or we won't feel comfortable having that car on the track. We actually check on that, and then we also make sure you have to have a helmet, and you have to have, some people come with a whole racing suit. Some we just tell them just come with at least long sleeves and long trousers. Don't come with shorts and slippers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we don't need a roll cage, because the good thing is our events, we do them on tracks like Whistling Morans, TGRV.
TGRV is a great Rift Valley, the track in Naivasha.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then we also do Motokana, like head-to-head. It's more or less Gymkhana in some areas. So we get 2 cars which go head to head. And
actually, I'll be coming to that.
Okay.
So still about the development of the cars. So once, when the cars were initially developed, what were some of the things that you picked up and learned over the days? Because boosting cars, I mean, people do boost cars for different purposes. Some just to have the fun of it, that you can double the power of your car or even triple, quadruple it. What were the lessons learned initially?
Some of these cars, you'd be shocked at doing 600 horsepower, 500.
That's a tractor.
No, okay. But okay, a tractor is more torque,
yes,
less horsepower. But these cars, the speeds they can even clock from 0 to 100 is shocking, you see. So a lot of people have learnt a lot. As the years have gone on, people are actually learning more mods and what to do to their cars. And that's how we're trying to just grow the sport.
So initially so there you have it, you have the cars. Very few circuits, tarmac circuits existed in the country. You'd have to probably get permission from Glenn Edmonds to get his surface. Or go to GP karting. Now that's a little bit too tight for the cars. Where were you holding these events?
So before we used to close roads. Like Kiambu, it became a very big event. Even the governor used to come there. That was Kabogo at that time. So we used to close a road, I think it was 20 kilometers long, and then we do a time trial. So generally we see who's the fastest from one end to the other. And then we also did Muranga. We also closed a road. We worked with the county government, and it was, I think, 6 kilometers long. It was more or less a hill climb, and it actually really caught up, and it worked very well. And then the rest of the places are usually the go-kart tracks that we've had in Whistling and TGRV. But we've always been trying to push for a proper racetrack in Kenya. It doesn't have to be international standards, even though it's a simple thing. But
I mean, why pull it down, Joe? I mean, why not have one, have a track as good as Hungaroring, or, I mean, basically have the surface.
No, even
the back end is another story.
Yeah.
But the driving surface, have it done right?
No, the thing is, even now, like now, you see F1 is actually going back to South Africa. We have WRC, and F1, most likely is going back to Kailami in South Africa. So if we had a track, and we can host both WRC and F1. I know it's a hard ball to pull, but it actually happens in other European countries. If we can do that, imagine the things we can do for this country, you see. So, but we still have this thing for it's only rally. Tarmac is still a small thing, and it has the potential, but it's still young. Or
people who basically are looking for the adrenaline rush for the wrong reasons.
Yes, we have that notion. So it's always been there ever since all these events started, but we're trying to change that.
All right. There have been some. Let me just think of the Kiambu time trial. You used to do it from just after Dumberi.
Yes.
The Kiambu Limuru
all the way, to Limuru.
Dumberi all the way to Limuru.
Yeah.
What were the things that you were ensuring that, to ensure that there is safety for the cars?
Okay.
Or at times, as you get to Limuru in the morning, can be quite dewy and chilly. I mean, given the weather conditions there.
So we usually used to work with the local police. First, we get a permit to close the road. It's gazetted, and then after that we meet the police, the local police. We have to work with the county, because at times it's too expensive to do the whole event without support from the county. So we get the county to come on board, and then the police, we tell them this is where we're doing it. There's an event even we hired NYS, I think almost three buses full of NYS, because that road is so long So every corner that someone enters to their homestead or work or chochoro or anything, you have to block it. So we had to work with almost 200 people in terms of NYS and police and the rest. So it's not easy, and it's very costly, but we tried doing it on our own. We also got a few sponsors. Vivo came on board, I think, twice, but usually we used to do it through friends and to see how it will work.
So what's the format you were using for this? It's because for you to do that kind of racing, you need one car at a time. What are the intervals, and how do you take a look? For example, if I come with a Vitz 1200cc car and somebody has probably a 2500cc car that's posted, how are you separating these people?
So let's say the last event we did for Kiambu Ring, we had 40 cars. I think 40 something. I can't remember exact. So what we were doing,
that's a huge entry by Kenyan standards.
Those were the days. So generally we used to.
Which year was that?
It's been a while. No, 2016 or 2015, around there. So what we were doing, we were getting the fastest cars, the biggest horsepowers, to start fast. So it was a 3-minute interval. So one car leaves, we wait for 3 minutes, the next car, like that. So we had radio calls all the way, the 20 kilometers. In case of a car having an incident in between the track and we couldn't know, we could get a radio call. We are told there is a car which has an incident. Don't start the car. You see? So that's how we did it. So we went from the fastest cars all the way to the slowest. So if you had a Vitz or Volkswagen and Mini, you'd be huku nyuma, but you'd still participate. And then now we have different categories. There was classic, there was 4-wheel, there was 2-wheel, like that.
And at the end of it all, what was the fun reaction? Because you've got to go through the driving through the tea farms, getting to the other point, and then doing the going uphill and downhill. What was it?
Well, I'm telling you, the turnout was not a joke. There's the last event we did in Kiambu, we were stuck in traffic leaving Kiambu for almost 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, that's enough time for me to drive from here to Voi.
Yes.
At road legal speeds.
And that was leaving the town. From Dumberi, passing through the town all the way to now, like you're leaving Kiambu, on Kiambu Road. Could stay 4 to 5 hours.
Well, thank God I know some Panya routes. And I would probably take an hour, but get out of that. And as the sport grew, somehow you could, at that point, 5-6 years ago, you could talk about some of the highs and some of the lows?
Okay, the only thing we used to have a challenge with was generally the sponsorships. It was hard getting them. We had a couple of sponsors who actually came on board, like Vivo. We had Red Bull, really helped once in a while. We had Coke. So it wasn't as much, but we tried and worked with what we had to make the sport happen. It's a little bit challenging actually starting a new sport in Kenya, and you don't have the support, but we made it.
Okay. Now moving on is that you moved away just from the roads, and you went on to airstrips that are not being used.
Yes.
Tell us about how that changed. Moving to Masinga, where there's airstrips or that are not being used. I think Nyahururu is another one where such things happen. So most counties have airstrips, but all of them fall under KAA. So getting access to those airstrips it's very hard. It's practically impossible. We used to get permission from KAA before. We did an event in Nyaribo, in Nyeri. It was a very beautiful event. And the good thing about airstrips, it's very safe. The width of an airstrip, if you put 2 cars on it,
the chances of them, meeting is very hard because it's so wide. Instead of doing on a public road, which you have only 2 lanes and they're very close, it's the risk we can't even dare do it. So
just to put into context the width, what we'll be taking a look at, is it say thicker to Kennel, or is it
the length, basically, for us to do a quarter-mile event, minimal we have to use is more or less like 800 meters, 900 meters.
That's double the length. And I'm talking about the width.
The width.
Yes.
The width we would use, was it 15
is
meters?
Equivalent of 4 lanes, 6 lanes?
2.
Yes. So basically a 4-lane highway.
Yes. Yeah. So that one is actually very good. But for international standard airstrips, it's actually way wider.
Yes.
It can even reach almost 8 lanes or 6 lanes. It depends. So right now, the only challenge we have, the only airstrips you can access are private. Yeah, like Masinga is actually private. It's owned by TADA. And there are other private airstrips out there, but the owners don't like people accessing their airstrips, because now if you bring a crowd of 1,000 people there, they won't be comfortable.
Hey, we're bringing 1,000 people to my place.
Yeah.
At a Minister Kubali. I will not. It's not my sherehe.
Yeah.
No. So you'd have to go for. So Masinga is the one that stands out now.
That's the only one we can actually access. Nyahururu is also there, but it's not that wide compared even to Masinga. But it's okay. I don't know if it's actually owned by KAA.
It's actually a KAA. It's a KAA facility.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So I don't know. I've never tried closing that one. But if we can work with KAA, I'm telling you, we can actually do events in all counties in Kenya.
So now it brings out 2 aspects to it. There is what you call drag racing, where it's straight line racing.
Yeah, quarter mile.
A quarter mile. That's call that 400 meters.
Yeah.
Or so.
400 and something meters.
400 meters.
Yeah.
And you've got the other one where you do the drifting, where you set a course like the pictures that we were seeing.
Yeah.
Tell us about the difference between the 2.
For a drag racing event, we just do a quarter mile. That's, I think, 420 something meters. And then we get the fastest car from 0 to that quarter mile. And then that only happens on airstrips. And then for Motokana, what you were just saying just now,
which is basically what we are seeing on the screen right now.
Yes. Now this one happens in WRC Service Park. It's the only biggest ground we could actually access to do this kind of sport. It's very popular outside there, extremely popular. But now this is the second event we're actually doing this coming weekend. So it's something new here. But it's catching up.
He's mentioned about the WRC Service Park at the KWS Training Institute in Naivasha.
Yes.
Just to put it into context why they really love it and the size, the service park is 5 acres of land, or basically 2.5 football fields put together. Think of Nyayo Stadium. Take that football pitch back and then fix 3 of them. That is what you have.
Yeah, it's
in terms of size.
Yes, it's the only largest venue we can actually access. We've looked for places, but this was the only opportunity we had.
Yeah, when this event was first organized last year, people wanted to find out what exactly is going on with all the cones, the whitewash, the flags here and there. How was this developed?
My colleague and I, he's called Umang. So he was actually the champion for last year for the Tarmac Championship. So we went to the venue and we approached WRC. The good thing is we actually fall under KMSF. So getting the venue was not that hard because we are trying to build the sport, you see. So we approached WRC, we talked to them, we told them we wanted to do a unique event at the WRC service park, and they agreed. So we went to the ground, we sectioned a whole track for 2 cars to go head to head. It's similar both sides, but when you're going like this, you have to separate so that you don't meet anywhere. The only place you'll meet is when you're going straight. That's it. So for that, and then you actually see who is the quickest for that small section. And to tell you the truth, for that one, it's more of who or what type of driver you are, but not what kind of car you actually drive. You see, you'd be shocked seeing someone who's driving a very basic car, like pushing way faster than this other person who has a very powerful car. There you don't need power. Yeah.
What you need is basically your skill, how you move forward, your braking, how you handle your corners.
Yes.
What was the response to this?
Now, the problem is last year, that event we didn't even have time to organize. So we got a permit on a Monday, and the event was happening on a Saturday. So we didn't even have time to push it out there. Like now, at least this one, we started talking about it like 2 weeks ago. So we didn't have as many spectators as we intended, but for this one we're hoping actually it will be a little bit bigger, and I know slowly it will actually grow. Yeah.
Now, joining the Kenya Motorsport Federation, I know it has been a long journey for you. At one point you're wondering, do we join? Then at one point everyone talks to you and says, it would be a good idea to join, such that there is cover and also have the recognition that comes with being in government. Take us through this.
The hassles I've gone through.
Now tell that story. Tell that story, because it's
we've really tried joining Kmsf for a while, but to join the federation was not that easy. We really had to push, but luckily we got the opportunity. I've known you for years.
9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. So you've been seeing what I've been going through, and luckily we pushed, and a few people actually saw what we were trying to do, and they accepted us into Kmsf, and that's how we went on. The good thing about Kmsf is being recognized by FIA. You see, when I used to do these events without Kmsf, FIA never even knew about us. Maybe we could tag them on Instagram or something like that. Luckily, that's it. You see, but now we are actually recognized. We even got time and equipment from FIA, which came in, I think, a week to WRC. Yeah, so a very good state-of-the-art system. We are still trying to learn how to use it, and it really helped us. You see, so it's a plus joining Kmsf, and we're hoping it will actually build the sport. So I don't know, we'll see.
Now, joining Kmsf eventually is that they will take you up as a member, and designate you to handle some events. There's some clubs that handle specific events. I think of the East Africa Motorsports Club around. Other clubs that handles the Vintage Car Club. They've got their own events. Kenya Rally Team focusing on the 4x4 and autocross, not the finance heavy events. What was it that Kmsf set out for you, so that they could observe you from the first year and also and the guidance they've been giving you when it comes to your events?
The good thing is, when we joined Kmsf, first we had to create NCRs. I actually shared with you
the national competition.
Yes, national. Yeah. So once you start with that, it really helps you to structure your whole championship. You see, before, when we used to do our events, we used to do them like more or less for fun, to see how people will take it and how it will actually grow. So right now, because we're doing a national championship, we have to follow rules, and they are actually what is stated on the NCRs. So we are the ones who actually came up with the NCRs, because the good thing is we are the ones who have been in this field for a very long time, and we knew what exactly the drivers want and what they are looking for, you see, and how to handle them, because it's a very totally breed of drivers. Tarmac guys and rally guys are very totally different. Even though they meet, they'll meet, talk, but the way they like doing the events, totally different. Which means that a tarmac driver will have a tough time in rally, a rally guy would have a tough time in tarmac. No. And okay, no, in terms of participating, they'll actually enjoy both. Yes. But now following the rules, tarmac are not into that as much. But rally guys have been doing this for years. So for them, it's, if they're actually joining an event you have hosted, they have to follow first the supplementary regulations for the event, the SRs. And for them to even register, they'll ask, where is your SRs? So in the SRs, now you'll see how you have structured the whole event. You'll see the COC, you'll see the CRO, and all those other people. The COC is a clerk of course, the boss of the event. Yes, and the CRO is competition relations officer. Sorry. So such things, they need to see all that. They need to see what time the event is starting, what time it will end, what are the penalties and whatnot. But before, when we used to do this, we used to do the penalties and we used to do a simple SRs, but it wasn't as much technical as is now, you see. So slowly by slowly, some drivers are actually getting used to this and they're accepting it, but we still have time. We still have a long way to go. Yeah. All right. By your own admission, there's ways to go. So let's take a look at first. By joining KMSF, it means that there is a third set of eyes that comes for your events. Yes. And this is a steward. Yes. From KMSF. Yeah. By having this third set of eyes from a governing body of motorsport, how has it changed the way, for example, if you do it in Naivasha, how has it changed the way you manage the track and do things? For example, refueling zones, a service park, a holding area, things like that exist in rally, in motorsport generally. Even as I was telling you, before we never used to have such things as stewards. So when we started doing the championship, the national championship, every time I do the SRs for the event, I have to send them to Kmsf. Then they select a steward who will actually come for our event. So it has really helped because every event we perfect it. Like before, when we started the national championship, we never used to have refuel zones. So slowly by slowly, the stewards who were actually coming for our events kept on coming and telling us, you need to do this, you need to do that. You see, because we are not used to that. The way we've been doing our things is totally for fun. But now it's becoming a very well organized event, you see. And the good thing is, if we plan to start an event at 9 a.m., the latest we will start is maybe 9:30. That's a long time. I mean, in rallying, that's... Yeah, now that's the thing. But we have issues because of because we've been doing our scrutineering on ground. So because of the COVID, because of the COVID and all that. So whenever we say we do scrutineering from 7 to 8, most of the times we can even get people who are coming at around 8 to 3, 8:30, and then they actually delay us kidogo. Yeah. Now that is one part about the stewards. The other one is basic when it comes to the safety measures that you've got
to put into place. How has that changed, and how have the competitors responded to this?
We haven't changed much in terms of safety. The only major things we have actually pulled out of is running on roads. But we want to bring back proper hill climb maybe next year. So we really want to do one proper hill climb every year to even invite other people from outside Kenya to come and participate. But the other things we've changed in terms of safety is just keeping time, and not much actually.
Now, as per the competition rules, there are 3 types of events. There's a Format A race, Format B race, Format C race. What's a Format A race when it comes to tarmac racing?
In what way?
As per the competition rules, it consists of 7 rounds, and there are 3 types of races. There's Format A, Format B, Format C. Or basically, there's a time, or how different are they? You can think of time trial.
So the what we have in terms of disciplines under Tarmac Motorsports, right now we are the only ones in terms of Delta Motorsports Club which does all the disciplines for the national calendar.
Yes.
So we have drag racing, that's one of the disciplines. We have Motokana, which is more or less Gymkhana, but it's also kind of a drift event. Because right now drifting in Kenya is very, very new. We have a couple of people who are very good. You saw the guy who was drifting in Naivasha. He's called Lujin. He's actually Chinese, but he's Kenyan.
Actually, that's the same guy who was drifting in Machakos.
Yes, same person for the RX. Yes. Yeah. So there's that discipline. There is time trial. Now that one we do it on. It's called what? Go-kart tracks. That's Whistling Morans and TJRV. And we hope other people will actually build wider tracks to accommodate cars. And then there is, that's it, actually.
So for you to win the championship, what's actually required of you within the 7 events set up on the KMSF calendar?
So according to our national competition rules, we have a point system. So you have to attend at least 70% of the events which are happening. So we have like 5 events.
So that means 5?
Yes.
Because it would be, 4.9? Can't have 0.9 of an event, so it's 5 events.
So at least do all the events, and then we give you points according to what category you fall under. So if you're the number 1, I think it was 45 points or 42, I can't remember.
Yes. So
you go like that, chini, all the way to 1 point. So as long as you participate in our events, you get 1 point. But if it's a DNF, it's
DNF,
0. DNS and DNF is 0.
So, looking at these different classes, we've seen when it comes to motorcycle racing, they look at the capacity of the bike. 50, 65, 85, going on to 125, and then get to the open class. In rallying, we know, for example, now we've got Rally 1, Rally 2, Rally 3. How do you classify cars?
We haven't reached there. Now, to tell you the truth, our current, the way things have been going, we don't have as many entries as before. So we can't classify them like 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, like that, you see. But if we get more entries, because in an event we can have like 12 entries, 13 entries, you see. But for now, we cannot do classification, because we can have 2-wheel drive cars, only 2 of them, the rest are 4-wheel. You see, it's very tricky to do 1, 2, 3 for 2-wheel drive class, and you have only 2 vehicles. Yes. You see,
actually, you need
Yeah, at least 3
entries
yes.
for a class to be legitimate.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a little bit tricky for us. Yeah, and we are really trying to push more drivers, but I don't know. It's not for them. I don't think they're more into national events. For them, it's more into club events or fun. Yeah.
Now, the other thing is this kind of you talk about drifting. I know in South Africa it's huge. When it comes to cars with boost, Tanzania is another zone.
Yeah, well,
where there is a lot of activity. How do you work with these countries on the continent?
The thing is, Tanzania has more petrol heads in terms of even, not more than Kenya, but almost similar to Kenya. They have a very good following for boosted cars, performance cars. And Uganda is actually slowly coming into that.
Uganda
also
is a rally country.
Yes.
And
but the
rally and motocross country.
Yes.
But they're catching up.
Yeah, they're catching up. So what we do, we've been working with Tanzanians. We have a very good relationship with Tanzanians and Ugandans, especially Tanzanians, in terms of performance cars. So they usually even come for events. I did an event in Tattoo City, and we had over 25 cars from Tanzania. You see, and the projects they have there are very good. The things they actually do to their cars, they're very passionate about it. You see,
what is it that they do? That probably it's. Usually we pick up the Swahili and the music and other things from TZ.
I don't know why.
Everything else we brush off.
The thing is, for them, rally is not a thing there. They are not that passionate into rallying. You see, but performance cars and such cars, they're very passionate about it. Kenya is split into half: rally and performance cars. You see. And Uganda is more into rally.
Into 3, because there's a group that is crazy about biking.
Oh yeah, and also biking.
Yes.
But Tanzania is not that big in biking. Yeah, and Uganda is actually coming up with biking, especially autocross. No, not motocross.
Motocross.
Yes, they're very big.
I know motocross and rally in Uganda are huge.
Yes.
I mean, the spectator numbers.
So what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to talk to Tanzanians and telling them, you should organize your own events. We even come, you see. And then slowly by slowly, we get other countries. I know even Rwanda are really trying to push for performance cars and such races. And I know, I think Mauritius is really big into that. So if we can have like 5 or 6 countries which are doing that, we can even do a small African Championship Cup, you see, and see how we can promote such cars. All right.
This weekend's event, give us full details about it.
So it's happening at WRC Service Park. It's starting from, we should have the first car at 9 a.m. and most of the people should be there by 7. We should do an event all the way until 2 o'clock, depending with how many entries we have. And then after that, we have a showcase for a few drift cars which wanted to come and showcase. We're just trying generally to promote drifting into Kenya. It's totally new. There's actually something we're trying to do with a local sponsor for drifting. And if it works out, maybe something we might share it out. It will be on November. Yeah.
All right. And talking about drifting, how do you get someone to get into this, and the kind of tires that are used for this? Because drifting really does chew into your tires.
Yes. Well, drifting never use expensive tires. Generally, look for the cheapest tires you can, because you're just removing smoke with them. No, I'm serious. Never buy expensive tires for drifting. Look for linglongs and such things. Hizo ndo unatumia. And you drift them properly and finish them. Because there you don't need grip. The only thing you need is just to burn the tires. That's it. And the power you have. You don't even need that much power. Yeah. It's just for fun. We haven't reached, because right now, if you look at the kind of drift cars we have in Kenya, at most we have proper drift cars, they're not more than 5, you see. But slowly people are actually building, and they're trying to bring them up. So most likely in 2 years' time, we might have a small championship. Yeah.
Well, quite interesting that tires that you buy and you use them for an entire year. Someone actually does that. And what about for the Gymkhana? What kind of tires are required?
Now, Gymkhana, it depends with the surface where you're actually doing it. Now, if it's somewhere where actually, even for Gymkhana, you really don't need very expensive tires. But if it's somewhere where you need grip, that's when you buy the expensive tires, semi-slicks or slicks, you see. But for the kind of surface...
Okay, in simple terms, if you are to describe a slick, how does it look like?
A slick doesn't have threads. They're called what? The threads, the grooves.
The grooves.
Yeah, it doesn't have grooves. But semi-slick has very limited grooves. So even at times, I wonder if police can recognize a semi-slick and a normal tire, because if you have a semi-slick, it actually looks like your tires are gone.
Gone, yeah.
Yes.
You will be arrested.
Yes.
And taken to court for...
And your tires are actually very, very good.
Because it looks like a 20-liter...
it's like a bold... Yeah. Yeah, KBC. Yeah, so it's for now the venue where we are doing this event, it has a little bit of gravel, so it won't need as much grip. So you don't need semi-slicks or slicks. You can come with the ordinary tires and actually participate, and you'll enjoy yourself. Because if you use slicks there, it won't help. You'll actually even lose grip. Yeah.
Well, and what's the length, by the way, of that circuit? Because seeing from it as you drive down and
you split
just
up.
Looking at it, the driver on the left and on the right have got a similar track, but they're just mirror images of each other.
Yes. So I know the specs for the grounds is, I think, 220 meters by 90 meters. So we split it into half, and then the drivers go, and it's exactly the same this side and this side. So for them to see who is actually the fastest to finish the track and leave, you see. What was the question?
How, ideally, about the length of...
Yeah, so it's...
Well, including the curves and turns.
So in total, we measured, I think it came to 0.9 of a kilometer. Yeah.
So, and how then do you test the drivers? And because one will be steering more towards the left and the other to the right. Is it 2 runs?
No, the thing is, we give them 3 hits, 3 laps on each hit. So when they finish that, we change them. You see, so the guy who was doing this side comes to this side, and this one comes to the other side, and then now they do it again, you see, and then we get their fastest times.
Very, very well. So details about how anybody needs to access KWS Training Institute, what's required of those who attend, in terms of safety, in terms of conduct as fans.
So it's a national park, for one. They're wild animals. When you're accessing the place where the event is actually happening, you'll have to drive into the venue. Animals there have the right of way. So even though you see a tortoise, stop and let it pass. And then another thing
Same with a snail.
Yeah, even a snail, you wait for it to pass. Another thing is we are trying to discourage people from littering because of the animals which are there. Once in a while, you'll see warthogs running across the track. So don't worry about that. We have to leave the venue because it's a national park. We can't camp in. We can't do camping there, and we can't do makelele sana. You understand? And be responsible, drink responsibly, come enjoy yourself.
All right. Joe Murai, he is a director at Delta Motorsport, speaking to us about tarmac racing in Kenya. It's been an evolution from the hill climbs in Kiambu and Murang'a, and also doing drag racing at the Masinga Airstrip. Now, here they are joining the Kenya Motorsport Federation calendar, and what a story now they've got. An event in Naivasha, the Gymkhana, happening on the 27th of this month. Well, the end of the first conversation. We take a little break, and next we shall be having some little bit of some demonstration sport. But before we get into that demonstration sport, we shall also remind you about the main event that we're taking a look at today, at the second half of this program.
Songea tukupashe na zile ambavyo vitakupa tabasamu tosha.
Hana mapenzi wala mahaba, mtoto mbaya sana huyu. What did you just say?
Sio tamthilia tu.
And why you're saying that
Ni tamthilia tosha.
Alinishika hivi. What?
Sio burudani tu, ni burudani tosha.
It is the day that the Lord has made.
Na sinema bomba.
Enda kabisa kama uelewi kitu unafaa uelewe.
Na mada za kusisimua. KBC Channel 1, shirika la utangazaji Kenya.
If you should ever dare do anything to hurt my sister, I'm not going to go easy on you.
I'm guessing that he's already fallen for you. He wanted it to happen. Come on, stop it.
When your troops intercept Karen's rebels, please leave Karen to me. I wish to deal with him myself.
Huh? Why would you two be in my study?
Be aware that you had nothing to do with that.
But I wasn't able to do anything to save them.
Her schoolmates have been making fun of her because she's the niece of a murderer.
They what? How could the kids do that?
Wait, who? Who? Tell me, who's the niece of a murderer?
Valentina. Maria is now trying to convince Mr. Gonzalo to send poor Valentina to a school abroad, and that's something we just can't let happen.
We need to find this gun. It's the same caliber, but a different gun.
This can only mean that we don't have just one murderer. We have two.
Wagwan Rasta! Kumbuka kila Monday ni Iris serving you nothing but the best in reggae music.
Aisha ni yangu, washugulika na yako.
And on Tuesday, it's all about Kenyan music, bringing you the best from the 2-5 flow.
Brand new wheel just hopped in.
And of course, to all you hip-hop heads, we've got you covered each and every Wednesday. Not forgetting, we've got some R&B on the side.
Let me a jiggle, let me see, and let me see the woman that is with me.
Now, every Thursday, tunavuka border across Africa to bring you nothing but the best for Afro Thursday.
Ready to burn up warning, someone's playing.
And on Friday, we do it live with me, Emily Mbai.
And me, DJ Koljax, on the ones and twos.
Not forgetting DJ_Lizadiva Pale Pia. Make sure you get interactive from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Hashtag KBC Club 1.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. My name is Daniel Wahome. It is the 22nd day of August 2022. Well, 22/08/2022. Our sign language interpreter within this hour is Lucy Mwaora. Stories that we are keeping up on: the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority is having an event in Kisumu. We shall be keeping up with that. And also remember that it is 44 years since the death of the founding president of the Republic of Kenya, the late Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, passed away at State House, Mombasa, 44 years ago. The first family will be hosting, a memorial for in honor of their patriarch. And also, from the board that you can see, it's all about the Judiciary Supreme Court presidential election petition timelines. And remember that these are all set up on two premises. Number one, Article 163(3)(a), it gives the Supreme Court original jurisdiction, which means that it can listen to a presidential petition, and this is at the first instance. Then, remember that it decides that, and the Supreme Court Presidential Election Petition Rules of 2017 were set out by Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga. And this is what we are focusing on today. Sarafina Robi is at the Sub-Registry of the Supreme Court, and this is at Forodha House in Milimani. And remember, this is as the petitions are sent. Remember, there are two ways of filing petitions in Kenya today. You can do it online and you can do it physically. So today they will be at Forodha House, and they will be presenting them physically. Remember, they've got to be filed within 7 days of the declaration of results by the IEBC. That happened 1 week ago on the 15th of August 2022 at the Bomas of Kenya. IBC Chair Wafula Wanyonyi Chebukati making that. And remember that the provision of the law, Article 141, it says that must be done within 7 days, and the petitioners must be served within the next 2 days, must serve the respondents rather within the next 2 days of filing this petition. And a response to the petition, they've been given 4 days to do so. So once this is filed, they've got today and tomorrow, basically, for the petitioners to give to the respondents, and the respondents have got technically till Friday or Saturday to file in their responses. And after that, interlocutory applications a day, that is from the date of filing of the responses, and there's a pre-trial conference. This is where they set the ground rules as to how this is going to work, how much time will be given to each of the parties, the petitioners, and also looking at the respondents and how they do that. And the hearing of the petitions will start immediately after the pre-trial conference. And remember that as per the constitutional guidelines, Article 142, and remember also there is Rule 23 of the Supreme Court Presidential Elections Petition, Rule number 23, this is from the rules of 2017. Then a determination of the petition must be done within 14 days. Now, 14 days from today, when they do file them today on the 22nd, well, if you add 14 days, 14 plus 36, but remember August is 31. So on the 5th of September, we must have a determination being given, and within 21 days, by the 26th of September, full judgment of that determination must be made available to the public. Remember, 3 previous petitions have taken place at the Supreme Court challenging presidential election results in 2013, and that was when the Supreme Court was presided over by Chief Justice Emeritus Dr. William Mutunga. That was in 2013. That petition was not upheld. In 2017, we had 2 petitions. The one filed in August was upheld by Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, and together with his famous, 1-minute speech about fidelity to the law and fidelity to the Constitution and a country making sure that it honors God. That was a decision that led to a repeat election. After the repeat election, there was a petition that was filed, but that was not upheld. So this is going to, the ones being filed today are going to be the 4th in Kenya's history. Now, there is something else that everybody's got to pick, and this is because Kenyans, given the timelines, if you take a look at what we saw in 2017, truckloads of documents showing up at the registry that was then at the Supreme Court proper, that is in the Central Business District, and that is at City Hall Way. We saw them showing up at night, but the registrar of the High Court, the Honorable L.M. Wachira, registrar of the Supreme Court, has made it abundantly clear that all shall be filed before 1400 hours of the day. That was under Rule 7.3 of the Supreme Court Presidential Election Petition Rules 2017. It shall be filed on the last available day of filing, which is today, and by 2 p.m. And take notice that they are to be exclusively done at the Supreme Court Sub-Registry located at Forodha House. That's adjacent to the Mlimani Law Court along Upper Hill Close Road. So that is where our team is. Already we are expecting to see the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition and any other party who may want to challenge the result or the result of the 9th of August general election, and this is at presidential level. They'll have to do it today, file it by 2 p.m. Any filing that is done after that, then it will not be considered by the registrar, the Honorable Wachira. So that is it. And our court team, Betro Enjoy and Serafina Robbie, they are there already. Spoken to Dan Manzo said some of those have gone online, but everyone will want that moment in front of the camera so that there is proof as they go in with their bundles and, all the pages and pages of the legal arguments that they would like to present as their petition as they challenge that general election. Keep for that, and within this program, remember, if any of those parties is there, we shall be joining our team who will be giving us the live updates from the registry of the sub-registry of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Now, let's move on to a conversation about sport, and I want you to think of a sport. Think of croquet. Well, this is where you've got what you call a mallet, almost played like golf, but you send the ball through a hook. And you've got a ball the size just slightly larger than a cricket ball. Or just slightly larger than a baseball ball. So you've got that. Then I want you to think of golf. So you can have a fairway where you tee off, a fairway, and at times, it can turn. You can have what they call a dog leg in golf. Think of that one too. Think of bowling. And I'm talking about where you've got a bowling alley where you roll the ball and you've got to strike the pins. And think of a goal, slightly about the size of this A4 sheet, and you've got one pin here that looks like a bowling pin that hit there, and you've got to send the ball past that. That's a goal. So when you put all those together with a little bit of mind around polo, you've got a sport that is called woodball. And we've got demonstrations coming in from 2 woodball coaches in the country. They've joined us in studio, and at the other end, they will be giving us demonstrations and taking us through that so that we can understand this woodball. And also, from the Wadi part of it, we've got the General Secretary General of Woodball Kenya, Mr. Samuel Litaba. And Mr. Samuel Litaba, welcome to KBC Channel 1. Mr. Litaba, welcome.
Thank you.
And, let's start with you, Secretary General, as I move back to my seat. How did you get to pick up woodball, a sport that we can say is just about 32 years old? It's one of the youngest sports in the world, so to speak. And how did you catch up with it and eventually bring it to Kenya?
The woodball is a sport that started in Taiwan, China. And it's a sport which I came across. Actually, one of my colleagues had gone to a game outside Kenya, and so he was introduced to the game of woodball, which is very similar to golf, as you have correctly said. And so when they came back, they started off the game. Actually, I'm not really a founder of the game. I found the game being run by 2 gentlemen, Amwema and Awaringo. But later on, they handed over to me because they were too busy with other sports. So I took over. From 2011, we had our first competition in Uganda for the Africa University Games. And that's how I got into the sport. I just love the sport. Apart from organizing, I like playing the sport. Mm-hmm. It's a sport for all ages, young people, old people, yes.
Now, let's now come down to this, what we're talking about, the surfaces that woodball is played on. Can be played on grass, can be played on turf as in case of an indoor scenario, but it can also be played on a beach. You could tell us about the variations.
Well, of course, the ground is different in all these cases. So the way you play may vary just slightly, but mainly the game is played in the same way. So we have the normal wood ball, which is played on grass, preferably. You can play also on marram, but preferably on grass, because grass is friendly to the equipment, to the balls. But when you play on marram, the marram eats the ball. After a while, the ball becomes smaller. But then the other major sports event we have is the beach wood ball. Yeah, and even Kenya has participated in one beach wood ball World Cup that was held in Uganda in 2018, and our people performed very well. We got several medals, silver and bronze. At that time, we were not able to compete for the gold, but since then, we have been able to win several gold medals. Yes.
Okay, so when preparing this course, the different surfaces, marram, grass, and beach, what are the considerations given?
Now, for the grass, we need a total of about 700 meters. So some of the courses, the fairways as you call them, some are straight, and the shortest is 30 meters. But the longest, the straight ones, is 130 meters.
So like what is on our screens right now is, that is a straight one.
Yes.
Which is about 130 meters. That is across an entire football field.
Yes, right across the football field. So 130 meters. And the longer it is, the wider it is. So normally it's from 3 meters wide up to 10 meters wide. Yeah, so you can decide depending on the length of the fairway and the difficulty, because each ground is different. So the difficulty determines how wide the fairway will be. Okay, then some fairways turn to the left, others turn to the right. Yeah, so those are shorter fairways, but now it becomes complicated because you have to hit the ball with exact power so that it stops right at the corner. And then you head to the gate and finish. The gate is a small goal, as you had mentioned earlier.
Well, and talking about the gate and that, we've got two coaches with us, Stephen Wendwa and Titus Mboya. And Stephen and Titus, let me just request you that you set up the equipment so that you could take us through, Woodball 101 in the practical way, so that we can understand every piece, every equipment that is used and how it works and how to play around that. Now, when it comes to organizing this, Wanalitaba, let us now take a look at how it's played. Is considering golf. We know, for example, if you go to Muthaiga, they'll tell you it's a par 71 course. If you go to Karen, they will tell you it's par 72. You go to Nyali, they'll tell you it's par 71. You go to, say, Railway Golf Club in Nairobi, it's a 9-hole, but they'll tell you it's a par 72. So how do you then measure the length of a course?
Okay, so actually we use the pars, but I only see them being used during the World Cup. Yeah, so each fairway is measured with a par 5, par 4, and so on.
So being a par 5 means you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, yeah,
on
to
a
score.
On a fair standard to score.
Yes. But you know, the other thing with wood ball is that you have it measured in terms of there's a rope put to demarcate how wide the area is. So if you go outside the demarcated area, you're added one extra stroke.
That's much like an out of bounds golf.
Yes, that is an out of bounds also in wood ball, because the person who created wood ball was a golf player. So he borrowed a lot from golf. Yeah, so once you go outside, you're added one stroke. And the person with the least number of strokes is the winner.
So how many fairways do you have in a wood ball game?
In a woodball game, you have 12 fairways, which you must complete. But in depending on the event, you can play a multiple of 12, 24, or 36. Yeah, so normally when you have a major event, you play the first 24 gates, that is 12, 12, and then the best 12 out of that group goes on to the finals, which is another 12, making a total of 36 gates.
Wow, 3 rounds of it, and you've got to go through. Now, let's take a look. Stephen and Titus. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Good morning, and Titus, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, now, let me hand over to you, and what I would like you to do is to introduce us to the equipment that is used in the game of woodball, and if I need, having the sport having been borrowed a lot from golf, do I need a caddy or a caddy for myself? Do I need different clubs for different lengths of the fairway? Take us through that. Stephen, you can start.
Yeah, as you can see, what I'm holding is a mallet. This is a mallet. We use it when we are playing this game. And as you can see, at the tip of it, we have something like a bottle. This actually...
So, Stephen, you can actually just look directly at the camera. They will show you the camera. That's, yeah?
Yeah, as I'm holding, this is a mallet.
Yes.
And I have a ball. The ball is wooden. The ball is wooden. And the mallet is aluminium.
Okay.
Yeah, and we still have a gate. This is our goal post. When we are playing, we have to score through that gate. Yeah, what I can say, we just have those equipments.
Okay, so let's, Tom and Titus, you could just lift that gate so that we can have a good look at it. Before you give us a demonstration of how it actually is played, you could lift that and just face the camera, and so that we can see how it works.
Yeah. So this is the gate, and you can see it looks like the wine glass. This is the goalkeeper for woodball. When woodball was created, the founder of woodball one day was invited to a party where his friends were celebrating. So what they were drinking was the Taiwan beer. You can see this is the Taiwan beer. So while they were drinking the Taiwan beer, the guy decides to, when he was idle, he was swinging with the wine glass in his hand. So he thought of, what if this one becomes a new sport? So while he was doing so, you remember on the staircase where there is the wooden staircase, at the end there was something that fit exactly in his hand. So that is where he took, what if this one becomes my ball? So originally on the ground, when we are playing, we have nails or metal protruding over here so that we stick the gate on the ground. But for the purpose of today's demonstration, we have some mechanisms here where we are taking it on the ground and using our stones so that the gate becomes firm. So the only way, the reason as to why the gate is suspended, the wine glass is suspended, is that when you score, even if it's from far, the gate says cheers. And just like people celebrate and say cheers. Yes.
Wow. So, there you are. And now, Stephen, having been given the description of the courses that people have, and the fact that you've got a fairway, one can be straight and you could have a dog right or a dog left, then how do you then hit the ball so that, such that it's, number one, can hold a straight line or it can curve?
Yeah, when you go to woodball, it needs 100% concentration. It's a game of mind. It's not a game of using your energy. For example, if I want to stay on the course, I have to make sure I concentrate while playing. That is, when I enter in a fairway, I have to place my ball at the center of the fairway. I'm just imagining. Then I come behind the ball. I can go down, make sure the mallet is straight. Then when you go to hit, you have to concentrate fast. You have to make sure while hitting the ball, it goes straight. So this game needs 100% concentration. You cannot go there while you have stress. You're going to get 144 strokes instead of 34 or 39. Thank you.
All right, Titus. How then, do you keep, your strokes in line and also help you concentrate? Because from what we've seen from Mwendwa, we've seen one stroke that has gone and hit the foot of that gate. So as you get to the gate, how then how many chances would you have at a gate? And can you do it from any side?
Yeah, with wood ball, you're allowed to score from both sides. For example, the ropes we'll be using, they will give you some like 2.5 meters behind the gate. We call it the buffer zone. So what you should always do as you begin, this is what I always tell the wood ball beginners, that when you play wood ball, when you approach the gate, it's a song I always sing: closer to the gate, reduce the energy, closer to the gate, reduce the energy. Because in wood ball, in the 12 fairways, accumulatively, the one who has the less strokes becomes the winner. And it pains me so much because in 2019, we lost to Uganda just with only 2 strokes. And they went everywhere as champions because they just beat us with 2 strokes. So for a beginner, you see the mallet, the way it is painted black. This is what you do. You hold your hand down. For me, I hold the right one. Then the left one, I support it here. So what you should want to do, you only create, you see, an inverted triangle. Then from the ball to the mallet, back to the player, another inverted triangle. Okay? So wood ball is more of mathematics again. So when you do so, ensure the ball is in the middle of your feet. Let me use this one so that I show you better. It's in the middle. Then also from the ball to your 2 feet, want to see an isosceles triangle. Wale walihepa hesabu leo watakiona. An isosceles triangle. So when you master
an isosceles triangle has got 2 equal, two sides. Yes, and if you drop a perpendicular line from the top, you got 2 right angle triangles.
Yes.
Nilipita hesabu.
Sikufanya
mathematics. So I understand geometry.
When you have an isosceles triangle from the ball to your 2 feet, yes, and also from the ball, the mallet to the player, another triangle, then when you invert also your hands from this edge to the other side back to where you're holding, it's another triangle. And then, assuming you are hitting 130 meters straight, you raise it, and then your shoulder also dictates where you're going. For example, if your shoulder is pointing away from the gate, it means you will not score. Then you come and hit straight, okay? Because people score with 1 even on that 130 meters. For example, when we were doing last year, was it last year? It was this year when we were at Kusa Women's Championship at USIU. A student from Kenyatta University called Felista Gashiri, who also plays for the national team, scored with 1 3 times. And she managed to beat a stiff competitor from Mount Kenya University. Imagine scoring 3 times with 1. Yosi Bahati, that means she took his time. So I will tell a player, anytime you play on the fairway, like Steve is the national team's captain. Like the national team's captain has said, you ensure you concentrate. So closer to the gate is when you reduce the energy, but far away from the gate, that's where you use a lot of energy. Then reduce every time you go out. We call it the out of bounds. Because anytime you go out, when you've played your first stroke, then you go out, you will come and measure 2 mallet heads from the point of exit. This is the mallet head. So you measure 1 and 2 back to the field of play. But now you are not playing 2, but you're playing 3. When you go out again, you will not play 4, but you play 5. And imagine you're playing 12, because maximum for any fairway, you hit 12 times. That is the maximum. So if I have 312, that means I have 36. When my opponent from Taiwan is scoring with 1 3 times. So how will I capture the deficit? So that is how wood ball is played.
Well, thank you very much, Stephen Wandwa. He's a coach, and also we've got, Titus Mboya. And, I just want to ask the Secretary General here, Samuel Ditaba, and he's mentioned about the equivalent of a hole-in-one in golf. So, in golf, when you do a hole-in-one, it comes with marupurupu ya kwa wenzako. What comes around with this?
Yeah, with wood ball it is similar, but normally for the higher competitions, when we have the World Cups and World Championships. So that's the time they give something, but only for one fairway, not for all fairways. They normally choose one fairway which they know it's difficult to score with one. Yeah, so that's the one where they give something. They give $500. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now taking a look at it, what's been mentioned, I know you work with Kenyatta University. We've also had one mention about Mount Kenya University. Now, let's talk about how this sport has come in from, let's start with the varsities. How has it taken root?
I think the sport is, in fact, strongest among the universities. It's recently, about 2 years ago, that we started introducing clubs. Yeah, because buying the equipment is expensive, but universities are willing to buy the equipment and also to sponsor their teams for competition. So the universities have embraced the game and are playing it all over Kenya. We have universities at the coast playing, TUM, Taita Taveta, we have Maseno, Masinde Muliro, we have Mount Kenya University, Kenyatta University, Meru is also playing the game. Yeah, so we have several universities that are playing the game, St. Paul's University, and there are others that are joining us this season, Daystar University, and so on, and USIU. So all those universities are playing the game, JKUAT. And so at the university level, it is very strong. The game is strong, it is growing. We have played both Kenya University sports games. We have also played East Africa University games. The first one we played was in Tanzania. This year, we are also going to play in Uganda, the East Africa University Games. We also played in Kenya when Kenya hosted for the East Africa University Games. Yeah, so at the university level, the game is very strong. It is continuing to grow. People are showing interest in the game. Yeah, so I think we are doing well there. But for the club level, we are now building the base for the clubs. We have 2 main clubs in Kenya, but other clubs will come up. We're encouraging those who finish university, wherever they go, they start a team. Yes.
Which are the clubs that you've engaged at the moment?
Now we have 2 clubs. We have Taifa, which I play for. Sorry, the second one, Titus will give you the name.
Yeah, Titus, you could give us the name of the second club. There's Taifa, the other name of the club?
Zeal Woodball Club.
Zeal Woodball, yes. So those are the 2
Where are
clubs.
they located?
Pardon?
Where is Taifa located?
They are both in Nairobi. Yeah, so Taifa operates from Kenyatta University.
Okay.
And then Zeal, they have no particular place, but they use the different fields where they're able to play. Kenyatta University and other places where they're able to train, yes. Yeah.
Oh, and now this is now where I now come in. When it comes to the formats of the competitions, first of all, let's take a look at the singles competitions. How this actually, even before I come to that, how much land is required for you to have a proper 12?
For the 12 fairways, you just need one football field. Yeah, that is enough for all the 12 fairways. And now you're able to sort out your straight fairways, your curved fairways, and so on. There's one that is curved. It's actually a V, but a wide V. Yeah, so you come from this end to that end. Yeah, some people are able to play and curve the ball so that it goes round and goes close to the gate. Yeah, so all you need is one football field, and you can put your 12 fairways. Yes.
Now, the other thing that I would like to, do is, and I'm coming shortly to you, Titus, and also Stephen, so that you could take us through the do's and don'ts when it comes to wood ball. Especially how you handling the equipment and things are not allowed. Is types of competitions. Take us through the singles, the doubles, and the team competitions.
Yes, so we have the singles, but the singles is also part of the team competition because you play as an individual. Of course, you'll be awarded as an individual if you're among the top 3. Then the best 4 in the team score for the team. Yeah, so while you're playing the singles, you're also playing the team event. Yeah, that is now for the stroke competition. Stroke is each time you hit the ball, the stroke is counted. But then there's another style of playing which we call the fairway. Fairway now is how many fairways have you won?
Now that is very much similar to match play in golf.
Yes.
So I win if I do 5 strokes on this fairway, and by the time you do 5, you haven't scored.
Yeah,
I have the fairway.
You have the fairway. Okay. Yes. So that is the fairway competition, and it's normally a knockout competition. So everyone starts off, and then people keep knocking each out until they reach the finals. And for leagues, especially leagues, we prefer to use the fairway. It is an easier way of keeping scores for the league.
And when it comes to the stroke competition, those who completed 12 fairways or it's multiple fairways with the lowest strokes, then, because that's why I want to come to the singles competitions, have you reached that level where you can run singles alone? If I decide to pick up the sport and I play against Stephen Titus or against you?
Yeah. So you can play as an individual. Of course, you'll do your 12 fairways. I will also come do my 12 fairways because we don't release all the teams at the same time. Normally, we release 4 players at a go. So 4 players go. Once they move to the next fairway, the next group is released. Yeah, so that way there's no collision on the field of play. Yeah, but now you go there, you play as an individual, you can be awarded as an individual. But as I've already said, that apart from playing as an individual, you can also play as a team.
Yes. Now let's come to the team competition. How does this work?
So with the team competition, everyone will play individually. What we do is we try to separate the players. You don't all from one institution or one club play in the same fairway. So we look for people from different institutions or different clubs. Player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, from different clubs. Then they play in that fairway. But then at the end of the day, your score, as maybe if you are Zeal Football Club, Woodball Club. So your scores will be considered and put together with all the other scores from your team. And the best 4, the total is added. Whoever has the lowest total is the winner, just the way you do it in cross country. So whoever has the lowest total is the winner.
So that means that if it's 12 of them, so if I'm averaging 4, per fairway.
Yes.
That means I'll be...
That's 48.
That is 48. And then, so if my teammate has 44, another one 56, another one 60, another one 75, you take the 44, 48...
You add them all together.
The lowest score wins.
The lowest score. The team now with the lowest score will win. Yes.
And what are the restrictions when it comes to the number of players in a team?
Normally, the team you can register 6 players, a maximum of 6.
That is
for the team event. Yes, and even for the singles, depending on the competition, some competitions are open. You can bring as many players as you want. But where there are many teams, they restrict the numbers. So totally 6 players for men and 6 for women. Yeah, on each category. So you may have juniors, you may have seniors. So the juniors will play 6, and then the seniors will play 6. Then we also have the corporate, like you and me now. So those who are in the corporate world working, those ones are also have their own category. Yeah, the corporate category. So again, you have 6 players.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, looks like we need more people at Taifa so that we just don't go to the corporate side. I know it's more cost effective from a playing perspective.
Yeah, but we need a KBC team.
Okay. Well, we need a football field, and I'm sure we'll be speaking to Iraq because this is very easy. I know there are those who play golf, they will have it. And let me just go back to our demonstration side of the studio. And this is where we've got Stephen Wendwa and Titus Mboya. And Titus, let me start with this. The do's and the don'ts with the equipment. Let's start there.
Okay. So with wood ball, one thing that is not allowed in the field are high heels. You need to be in a sports attire, like you can see myself. This is a very good fit attire for wood ball. And anytime you are allowed to play, because anytime the mallet head just gets in contact with the ball, that's already a stroke. So trial and error is not allowed in wood ball.
Okay, just a question. You've mentioned about the dress code. What kind of shoes are allowed? Because I know, for example, in golf, they won't allow you to have heels of any nature. Yeah. For example, the shoes I have on would not be allowed on the course, on the greens, so to speak. Jeans are not allowed on the course.
Yeah.
So I would need to be in some outfit, and amongst other things, I must be tucked in. So, sio kuvaa tu ni kama naenda style free.
Yeah, wood ball.
Kienyeji.
Wood ball is a sister to golf. So you've noticed that all the rules from golf apply in wood ball, and you are very correct. You're not allowed to wear any type of shoes but sport shoes alone. So no high heels, no jeans, no, you are not going for a party, specifically sportswear. Yes, so that is rule number 1. And especially when the game is beginning, so you will find there is a referee, the chief referee, who gets to look at the type of equipment you are having, so that if it's a ball, it should be having a logo. Mine here is a bit faint, but it shows We Who King, because the guy who started wood ball was called Mr. Wayne. So you must have this logo on. This shows this ball is standard. So you need now, as a sportsman, you need to invest in that type of quality that is needed for type of equipment needed. So when you play,
let's come to the mallet, because there are also an inspection will also be done on the mallet.
Yeah.
What do they look for?
This is an aluminium mallet, but we also have a wooden mallet. So we will want first to see the status. You see, it still has the logo. It still has the logo. Even these other ones have the logo. So it means that it's fully certified. When you go to play in the World Cup or any other international competitions, no other equipment are allowed to be used, but except those that have the logos. Even the wooden ones have the logos. And that is why it becomes hard to spread the game, because one, you need the right equipment, which are not affordable. The SG can tell you the challenges that we go through in acquiring the equipment.
Okay, as we take a look at the mallet, just for clarity, I mean, you can hold it up to our camera there so that it can be seen, such that that dark part doesn't look like it's tape that's on it.
Yeah, we have the tape to help us also maintain, because this is an extension of the mallet and the rubber. So, because we play wood ball for too long, there's a time we go to training at Kenyatta University, at USIU, at Jomo Kenyatta, Meru University, and then we play from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening. So you also have to, since you acquired this from your own sweat, you also have to take care of your equipment. There was a suggestion the last time we had the workshop in Uganda for it was the first Africa Woodball workshop, where we will be having several equipment, just like golf, where you need to play a longer fairway, a longer shot, you need a specific mallet, and a shorter one, you need another mallet. But before we reach there, we are encouraging players to maintain their equipment in order. That's why you see, like, all of mine have the rubber. So, I mean, have that tape. That tape is just to maintain the equipment. But when you get a brand new one, it doesn't have the tape. In fact, you are the one fixing the rubber when it comes from the box when you buy.
So it just comes, it's something, it's aluminium or wooden,
yes.
And then you fix the rubber at the top.
Yes.
That rubber is part of the package?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on.
So the do's and the don'ts, normally when we are playing wood ball, we have 4 players playing on that fairway at a go. So you'll find player number 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So you play the game, when starting, you start with an order. You will find player number 1 is supposed to start and not number 2. So assuming the referee says play and it's not your turn to play, you should be keen so that you play at the right time. Then we play in the order. The one who, after everyone has started at the tee off, the one who is far away during that is stroke and also fairway competition plays first. So anytime on the fairway, you are not allowed to walk on the fairway unless you are using it. Because, one, to avoid injuries. Because imagine if I have hit my ball to go 100 meters away and then it hits you. So one, to avoid the injuries, you only use the fairway, walk on the fairway while using it. And then always talk with the referee when you're playing. Because when the referee, in his wisdom, because on each fairway there is a referee, he can decide who plays next. Because you already know that you are the one supposed to be playing, then you decide to, but the referee tells you otherwise, then you should just follow the rules of play. Then as you play, anytime you get outside, we call it the out of bounds. Wood ball is funny. My ball can get outside, let's say at 10 meters. Then it goes out, then it comes back to the field. Don't go and play where the ball is. Return back to the point of exit and measure 2 mallet heads. It's to any radius back to the field. Then
Okay, let me just get that.
Yes.
So, with one stroke, the ball rolls, goes out of bounds, say 10 meters away,
yes.
rolls back in, 5 meters later,
yes.
I'm supposed to go back to the 10-meter point.
Yes, the first point of exit. That's where you get back, and then you measure the 2 mallet heads, and you place the ball.
That is on the out of bounds point.
Yeah, on the out of bounds. And we also have linesmen who help, because sometimes a ball can hit outside just a micro or a millisecond, then it gets back. So unless you're also keen, because anytime, for example, you've had that fairway that has a tee where you score with 1. and then my ball, I have hit the ball, let's say, to score on a fairway that is 100 meters. Then it just steps outside once and then gets back and then scores. If you are not keen, and also the linesman, I will defend my ball and say it didn't go outside. So also the players, their work is not just to play, but also to ensure they also look at the way the game is played. Normally, there's a time we were in a competition in Uganda. Then what happens is this: anytime you have scored, the referee will read your scores. He will tell you success at 10. Or let me say, he will tell you success at 3, but he writes you've scored with 10. So you know what happens also in sports. We have those guys who are not with the sportsmanship. So ensure every time you finished each fairway, check the scores. Check the scores. If I tell you success with 2 and I have written 10, then I keep telling you so. So how will you check at the last time? What I always tell players, after every fairway you finished, ensure you check your scores. Because there's a time you will sign. After you've signed, you can't go and say, these are not my scores. Yes.
Now, let me come to you, Stephen. When you are a player, you represent the country, how do you keep the cards? You know, from all the conversations, there's so much similar to golf here. In golf, if I was playing with the general secretary here, I would give him my card, and he would have, and I would have his card. Would mark each other's cards as that happens. How does it happen in a competition?
As Coach Mboya said, we usually have a referee. The referee is the one who marks. The player, the work of a player is to play. Then our coach, there's something he has left out. When you score, for example, in this gate, score, coach.
I hope I'll score.
Yeah, you can score. You have to make sure you hold the glass back to its position. Don't use the mallet. If you use the mallet, you are going to be penalized.
What's
but
the
due
penalty, a
to
stroke?
yeah, that's a success. We called it a success because he has scored. Now, because of the COVID-19, we have embraced to use our leg and hold it back to normal. That's something we have introduced because of the COVID-19. Then, as I was saying, the referee, if you score and you just leave the gate while swinging, you are penalized. Like the referee can decide to penalize you 2 strokes or 3. So for the game, referee does everything. Our work is just to play.
Now, the other thing that I want to ask you, Stephen, is we very well know that, you know, if you've got this fairway, there is the chance of you striking the ball, say if you're looking for the 130-yard drive, there's a chance you might flight the ball. What are the rules when it comes to this? Is it rolling the ball permanently, like in the style of croquet, or can you fly the ball, like in golf?
Yeah, when we come to playing the ball, we just have your own techniques. It can fly. You can hit the ball, hit the ground, fly. But as long as it's maintained in the ropes, which we call them the fairway, you are on the right track. So it depends on your techniques. There is a technique of just hitting the ball, of which when it hits any obstacle, it's going to get out. But for these long courses, we spin. We do spinning. Spinning, we hit the ball. We hit the ball this way. It goes round. If it touches the rope, the ball won't get out of the rope.
Aha.
Yeah, that's a technique for playing those long fairways. For short, it is energy now. If we are playing short, we have L and we have V. And for L, for you to be a champion in L, you have to score with minimum of 4. We just do 4 because it can go to OB. OB is out of bounds. So for L, we do the regulating your energy, the mode of eating, depending on the meters of the L, letter L. Then the other rule is when you come to near, we have another set how to set the ball for you to score easily. For example, in here.
Well, actually, Stephen, let's have that as a last example as to how you set the ball
now,
to score.
My ball have played it up here. From here, this point, I cannot score. We use a V rule. V rule says away from the gate, either this side or this side. So I will set V. And I'm going to play where the ball stops. Then from there, now I go and try to score. Now I've missed. So this is a technique. We set the ball for you to score easily. Bear in your mind that the minimum score, you'll be the winner.
All right.
So the way I said at the beginning, it's a game of mind.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Stephen Mwendwa. He is a woodball player together with Coach Titus Mboya for telling us it's all about how you keep this. And thank you, Emin, for the demonstrations and all of that. And as we close, General Secretary Litaba.
Yes.
A call to people who'd like to pick up the sport.
Yeah, we really want people to play the sport. As I said earlier, the sport is for all ages. So children can play the sport, grown-ups can play the sport, old people can play the sport. When we go to play in Taiwan, the home of woodball, we play against 75-year-olds. And they beat us. They are good with the game, yeah. So we want everyone to join the game of football. As our coach and treasurer Titus Mboya always says, he wants all homes in Kenya to play the game of football. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. That is Samuel Litaba, Secretary General of Woodball Kenya. We have the Treasurer of Woodball Kenya, who's also a national team player, Titus Mboya, and Stephen Mwendwa, who's the Treasurer, and Coach Titus Mboya. They have been with us and with a demonstration about this sport that is a mix of polo, golf, croquet, bowling. You think of it, and it's accessible for everyone. Thank you very much. Well, next will be Kurunzi Mashinani with Zainab Said and also Tamrini. But remember, we are keeping up with what's happening at the sub-registry of the Supreme Court of Kenya at Forodha House. That is adjacent to the Milimani Law Courts. This is where we have got the filing of petitions, for those who want to challenge the presidential election as announced on Monday last week by ABC Chair Wafula Chebukati, and for the elections held on the 9th of August 2022. And also, as that is happening, we shall also have the Independent Election Boundaries Commission. Remember, tomorrow there was supposed to have been elections for the Kakamega and Mombasa gubernatorial seats, and then Kacheliba, Pokot South, Rongai, and Kitui Rural constituencies. They didn't hold the elections for the members of the National Assembly, and there are also 3 seats to be contested for the member of the County Assembly. So those 9 events, they had to be postponed, and this was after concerns were raised by the Independent and Electoral and Boundaries Commission, about the safety after some of their commissioners were injured last week on Monday. And at the moment, you can see the situation that we've got at the Milimani Law Courts. As you can see, the security, they say, to speak in Kenyan lingo, the security is tight. And remember, this is Upper Hill Road close, which means that if you drive in, there is only one way out, just at the law courts. So that's where you've got a whole set of police officers, and there were rehearsals last week as to how access to the sub-registry will work, and also the access to where the Supreme Court will be sitting. So we will be keeping tabs on that. Our court team is Sarafina Robi, and the information she sent to us is that the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, they've electronically filed their petition. Is just to present the bundles to that registry. Remember, 2 p.m. is the timeline which they must abide by. But also at the Bomas of Kenya, remember the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. You can see the pictures there. We've got IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati, who is meeting with aspirants who are going for the gubernatorial seats in Kakamega County and Mombasa County. Remember that one of the aspirants for candidate for the Mombasa gubernatorial seat, the Honorable Abdul Swamad Sharif, had gone to court asking that the elections be held as soon as possible. That matter was supposed to be heard today, and also there were others who were coming in also from Kakamega. From the Kakamega County. And remember that also we had 4 constituencies and 3 wards where the elections are yet to be done. And right now, this is at the Milimani Law Court, where at the moment we are witnessing the arrival of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party presidential candidate, Raila Odinga. He is there, and he's got his legal team that is going to present the physical copies of the petition that was filed online. Let us listen in from the Milimani Law Courts.
The person who appeared here a few minutes ago to lodge the petition, we have some issues we have noted in the petition which we need clarification from yourself. Kindly avail yourself in our registry to sort out the issues we need them to be sorted out by yourself. Thank you.
Repeat again.
Yes.
Deputy Registrar.
Yes, for purposes of relaying more information to our stakeholders, so far, no any other petition has been filed. So this is the first one we have. We will keep on updating you in case we receive any other.
That is at the Milimani Law Court, and the filing of petitions. Remember, only one petition has been filed. That's been confirmed by one of the members of the registry, of the sub-registry of the Supreme Court, that is at Forodha House in that's adjacent to the Milimani Law Court in Nairobi. That is where they are, as waving is the Nairobi Senator-elect Edwin Sifuna, and also the Nairobi woman representative elected, Esther Passaris. They are there all and they are there as members of the Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party. They are presenting their petitions, and they will be. And from the announcement that has been made, only one petition has been presented. So that means they have been, the advocates who presented it have been asked to go to the registry so that they can clarify on matters. Remember, 2 p.m. is a cut-off time for that, and anyone who's got any petition against the presidential election held on the 9th of August and announced on the 15th of August then has got about 2 hours to do so. Remember, all this happening at the sub-registry. You do it online by 2 p.m. You can present the physical papers later. And remember that also the respondents have got to be served within 2 days of the presentation of that. So that's one of the stories that we shall be that's going to be followed for the next 2 hours as everyone tries to beat the deadline. And over the next 1 week, it will be the interlocutory adjustments that are going to be made, the interlocutory applications. And also we are going to have the pre-trial conference before the hearings. And by the 5th of September, determination on the petition will have been made, and it will be read by the Chief Justice, who's also the President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome. Let us listen into this.
The commission, we are not going to, we should have a new returning officers and POs from that particular area, because so that we shall have fair and free and credible election. That's what we agreed with them today.
Asante Mhesh. Wait, mbona nashinda nikipigiwa sana?
As you can see, well, members of parliament elect all at the Milimani Law Courts waiting for the filing of the petition, and only one petition has been filed. It is a physical form of a presidential petition. It has been filed by a voter, John Njoroge Kamau, and the verification of that petition is ongoing. And so remember that this, what he is seeking through his petition that has been presented as he was speaking is that, one, a declaration that the first respondent and the fourth respondent do have the power to postpone the date of general election. So those are some of those that are there. And this is in regards to the elections that have been postponed. And we're talking about Rongai constituency, Nakuru, Pokot South, Kacheliba, Kisum, and Kitui Rural, Kakamega, and also Mombasa when it comes to the gubernatorial. So he wants... that's the only petition that has been filed. So all others that are there, so some issues that have got to be done, and also that some of the things is that a declaration that the constitutional mandate for tallying and verifying election results as received from the polling stations by the National Tallying Center has to be undertaken by all commissioners of the IEBC, which means that it has to be joint. So it's all about the role that is that of the commission as a whole. Remember that there were 4 dissenting commissioners who gave a separate statement last week on Monday at the Serena Hotel, and there are those who remained. 2 of them were hurt and they stood out there. 2 statements given, but at the moment the commission has got to deal with that. So that's where the focus is on today, the Milimani Law Courts. And those are the pictures from outside there. You can see, like they say, the security area, the place has been cordoned off, so which means that random access to that area is not going to be accepted. That is what our team at the law courts, Bentro Enjoy and Serafina Robbie, will be keeping up with, and also expected there. Had been indicated at 15 minutes, that was 1 hour ago, but the Right Honorable Raila Odinga also expected to presently be there when that petition is filed at the sub-registry of the Supreme Court of Kenya. So that's what we've got right now. Yeah, time. Remember, coming up next, Kurunzi Mashinani, Zainab Said, is going to be your host for that segment. And remember also, we're keeping up with what is happening in Kisumu with EPRA, and also Wafula Chebukati, IBC chairperson, speaking with contestants from areas where elections have been postponed. My name has been Daniel Wahome, our sign language interpreter has been Lucy Moora. Take a break.